welcome to the Hooked on Needles podcast. My name is Maricela, or Mari if you prefer, and this is a knitting, crocheting podcast where I get to share with you guys what I have been up to. So it has been 2 weeks since my last podcast, so here I am. The week after I recorded, I got a bit of a cold, and I felt like I had not done any work whatsoever on my projects, and I was really feeling overwhelmed because I also felt like I had a lot of projects going on, but I don't know. So yeah, anyways, I hope you guys are all doing well. Today is September 13th, 2017. I don't know if I already said that or not. If I did, I'm sorry. And yeah, I am glad that you guys decided to join me for a little bit. So yeah, let's get into it. I may be taking a couple water breaks because my throat is still not as good as it should be. So yeah, I wanted to start off with my works in progress, the projects I am working on right now. I still have not done much work on the Future by Shep. Here it is. It is in the evening right now, so we will have to do with the light that I have. But I haven't touched it. I just have all my markers in place still. So hopefully that'll get a little bit of attention soon. The baby blanket got some love. Here's my marker. Okay, that's where I was. And then this is how much it's grown. So that's quite a bit. I've probably doubled it. If not more. Yeah, I've knit more now than I've doubled it at least. So that's pretty good. It's going well. I did have a couple of rows around here, as you can tell, where I think I messed up my purls. The way that I purl, I don't know if I've said this before, but the way that I purl, I end up with my stitches on backwards. So to fix it, I would have to knit through the back loop of the next row. Well, it seems like I might have forgotten to do that a couple of times. So I ended up with very different stitches around that area. And so that's the result right there. So yeah, but I'm not frogging back. I don't think that Mom and Dad will notice at all. So I think it'll be okay. And she still hasn't given birth, so I still have a little bit more time, but I am trying to finish this. I haven't really ever knit a baby blanket, so yeah, it's taking a little bit, but that's okay. At least some progress has been made. And while I was sick, I actually wound up my yarn because I was not feeling well enough to really knit. So I was like, well, next best thing is to just, wind up my yarn. And I realized that I really like having it this way rather than in the skein, as I did it to the first ball that I used for the blanket. So I really enjoyed it, so I went ahead and did it to the second. I don't know if I'm going to need a third. I think this one should be good. I should just use the two balls and I should be fine. And this is using just Red Heart Super Saver because I wanted to make it easy for them to keep up with it and not have to worry about laying it flat or anything. Just, you know, wash it and throw it in the dryer and it's gonna be fine. And yeah, so those are in progress. And then I am also working on my socks. I was doing them 2 at a time, but then I decided maybe it was time for them to separate. So when I put the heel in on both of them, I then decided to separate them into their own set of 9-inch circulars. I am loving them still. I just need to crack on and finish up the foot. I have yet to decide whether I want to do the black for the cuff or not, because I don't think it would look too bad if I didn't. I think I like just the heel and toes being black, so I still have yet to decide, like I said. But these did get some love. And the yarn is so nice to work with. It's just, it's so easy and just, it's just so soft and lovely. And this one, this is the yarn that John sent over. I've shown it before, but there it is. And I love it. It is really, really, really wonderful. So I am doing the Hermione's Everyday Socks, but I am calling them the No Slytherin here because you don't see any Slytherin colors in them. So yeah, hopefully next time I see you guys, these will be done. Fingers crossed. And then that's all I have. Those are all my projects that I'm working on right now. So yeah, which means I'm done, guys. I finally finished. I feel like it should be like a dun 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 moment, you know? Because, geez, Louise, did this take forever? Of course, it was in timeout for at least a month out of the probably like 4 that I was trying to finish this. I'd never done lace before. It was quite the challenge, but I really, really love the end result. It was totally worth it. So it does fit her. I need to block it and just, she would have liked it a bit looser. So probably with the blocking, that'll stretch out a bit. And maybe she'll wear it. We'll see. We hope. I think I've mentioned she said it plenty of times that she's not knit worthy. And both her and her dad, they tend not to like to wear knits much or crocheted things. Just, I don't know why they don't. I think she would appreciate like an oversized sweater more. This, I really liked the pattern and the book and everything, and it's really beautiful. I really did enjoy working on it. She's into a Korean group called BTS, and they have a song called Blood, Sweat, and Tears. So I told her, I gave it to her, and I was like, my blood, sweat, and tears went into this muddy, I was like, here you go. And she was like, Mom, you're not BTS. And I was like, I know, but here it is, all my hard work. So yeah. So I will have to stretch that out a bit for her so that because she likes more drapey things. So, and I am glad that I did do this size, because I feel like had I done the medium, which is what it would have, like, that's her size, is medium, I feel like then it would have been way too big, because this is the small and it fit like perfect. So like I said, I just need to stretch it out a tiny bit just to make her a little more comfortable, but it wasn't like super tight on her or anything. It was really, really nicely, a really nice fit. So I am glad that I know that about myself. So yeah, and I would highly recommend, if you would like to give that a try, just remember that lifelines are your friend when it comes to lace, because oh my gosh, I like thinking back about how many times I ripped out on that project. It was a lot of patience went into it. So yeah, I had a little stack of like all of the lifelines that I cut out, just like a little pile of them, because I used a lot of lifelines, and I used my ChiaoGoo interchangeables for it. I did the 2.75 for the body, and I bound off with those same needles on the neck area, but then I did want to give it a little more room on the arms, so I used a 3.25 for those areas. So like I said, it fits her perfectly. So yeah, I am very happy and very proud. And like I mentioned, I do have a couple areas where I totally messed up, but I think, you know, like in Finding Nemo, when you go like this, you can't even tell. So that's okay. But I really am so happy and excited that I finally finished this project, because that just had me like so overwhelmed at times, where I was just like, I don't even want to touch it. I don't want to look at it. But I'm so glad it's off the needles. All I have to do is block it and weave in the ends, and then all will be well. So yeah. And then that's all. Oh, sorry. That was from this book. Sorry, I'm trying not to get the glare from the phone. It's Knitting 24/7. It is the layering mesh tank. Hope you can see it. Oh. And that's what it's supposed to look like. So as you can see, it is supposed to be a bit more droopy, but I really do feel, had I on her, it seems to fit fine. It just, she does, it comes a bit low here, and so she would like something with a little bit more of a neck area, a covered up neck part like this. So I think daughter will enjoy it. So yeah, and then that's all I have that I have been working on, really. I am still feeling all over the place, I'm sorry. And I used this yarn for the shirt. I don't know if you'll be able to see it. I had 4 of these balls. They are 160 meters, which I am guessing is about 165 to 70 yards. And I had 4 of them. I used 3 of them completely for the body. And then the last one I used for the, like, just finishing up the top area for where the sleeves go up to the top. And I used about half of a ball. And so I don't know what I'm going to end up doing with this, because this is all I have left. And it's really soft. It's 90% cotton and 10% cashmere. So it's really nice yarn. And it was really nice to work with as well. The finished product is really soft and stuff. So yeah, that one's from Lotus Yarns. And yeah, so I totally recommend that that pattern if you are brave enough to try it, because it does take a lot of time and concentration, and labor of love is what I was telling her. Because I had been complaining about that dang Lego hat for her brother, and so I was like, I love you just as much, if not more, because this thing, oh my gosh. Sorry. So yeah. Anyways, finally moving on. I'm so sorry I keep coming back. I'm okay. I'm good. What I have planned next is what I wanted to talk about. So, as always, I believe I will be making hats for my nephews who are in Mexico. Hola, sobrinos. They sometimes watch the podcast, even though their English is not the best. That's okay. So, anyways, I wanted to make them some hats, and I actually would like to make them out of some superwash, because the nights in Mexico tend to be rather chilly during the cold months, and so I feel like wool would work better for them, just because it does tend to be a lot colder than it gets here in Georgia. So I'm just gonna be looking for some superwash for their hats. And I don't really want to send over natural wool, non-superwash wool, and mostly just because I don't think they'll use a dryer, because they still line dry their clothes. But just in case, I would rather it not be something that I have to worry about, like, please, here's a gift, but then make sure you're extra careful. Like, I would just rather them wash it when they need, and hang it to dry or whatever. So yeah, but we chose out the patterns when I was sick. My kids and I sat down and we were scrolling on Ravelry, and so we came up with this one for the younger of the three. It's the Pandemonium hat by Karen Michelle, and here is a picture of it in color. Isn't that adorable? And I will be making this one because he has mentioned a couple of times that when he gets older, he would like to be a veterinarian. And what vet would need a panda hat, right? So that will be going to the youngest. And then this is, I can't pronounce this, but it is by Tin Can Knits. It is a free pattern, and that's what it looks like. And then they also have it on the guy and the baby. And I really, really like it. I think he will enjoy it. And then the last one, I don't have a picture of, but it is called the Tibetan Cloud Worsted Fair Isle Hat. And it is by Grames Knowles Miller. Like I said, I don't have a picture, but it's just a 2-color Fair Isle, and it's nothing too hard or anything like that. But I really, my daughter and I really liked the design, so I'm gonna go ahead and make that. So that is on the plans. Those are the plans for upcoming projects. And then I also got all of the yarn together to make my son's sweater. But I have yet to really choose a pattern. The one that has crossed my mind, because I feel like everyone has knit it and also everybody really enjoys it, is the Flax Sweater by also Tin Can Knits. And like everyone has said, it's got all the different sizes for everyone you know. And yeah, I'm thinking that that's what I want to do. Now, according to the pattern, I would be knitting the 6 to 8 year old, which would require 680 yards. And I don't know if I'm going to have enough, because according to my calculations, which I am no genius, but I have 220, 110 in each one of these, which means I have 550 in the colors that my son chose. That's not enough. And I had this leftover one from a hat that I made. It's Lima by Fibra Natura, and this one comes in 284 yards. So if I have a half a skein, that equals 140. So 140 plus 550 is 690. So I should have enough if I do all of these together, which I don't think would be that horrible. And he really, really liked this color, and so he wants a funky sweater, basically, in the colors. So I was thinking that if I end up adding this one as well, I may end up doing this on the collar area, the sleeves, like the ribbing parts, and then having this to do the shoulder part and like here, and then from the chest down do the funky colors. So that is now what I am planning. I don't think he's gonna say no, because he loves funky colors and wearing really wacky clothes. So I think that should work out okay. I don't have a day of when I'm thinking I'm going to start it, but it is in the plans, so that's good. And yeah, that's all I have planned out for so far. I am debating whether I'm going to be making stuff for my husband's side of the family, because some of them live in rather warm climates. I think most of them live in warm climates, actually, so I feel like they don't necessarily need yarny goodness in their life. And so I'm not sure if I'm going to be making anything for them, but I know that for sure my side will definitely be getting handmade things. So yeah, because we enjoy bundling up when it gets cold. So I'm still going to be thinking if I am going to do anything or not, but we'll see. And yeah, and then I wanted to talk to you guys because I had mentioned that I would be going to the Georgia Fiber Fest. That was this past weekend, and I was so excited. A lot of Georgia podcasters I became aware of, and that just like made me so excited to maybe get together with them and, you know, just talk about our yarny obsession together. But sadly it did not happen because of the Hurricane Irma hitting Florida. A lot of people evacuated up north and therefore came through Georgia, and so traffic was just crazy. I live about an hour and a half away from Tennessee, and then in northern Georgia, and it was even crazier up here. On Friday afternoon, on my way to pick up my son, I drove by a couple of gas stations, and it was fine, like a normal day. But on my way back, they were all packed. We drove by one of them on Saturday. They were out of gas. And so I was really nervous about running out of gas. Had I gone to the Georgia Fiber Fest, there were some people who did end up making it down there, and but still, because of the hurricane, a lot of vendors didn't show up as well on Saturday, which was when we were going to have the meetup. So that, like, everything just kind of fell through, and I was really bummed because, like I said, I was really, really looking forward to seeing everybody and meeting people, and so that didn't happen. So that made me really sad. But on the other hand, even though it didn't happen, maybe we will be getting together at other occasions now that we all know that we exist and we're out there, which would be amazing. I would really, really be into that. So we'll see. And yeah, so that was Saturday. And Saturday also, my husband drove down. We found out that he will be working in town for a while, which is amazing. So he drove down with all of his stuff in his car. And it's just been a bit messy. I'm trying to sort all the things that he needs or maybe doesn't need, since we already have everything here. And just trying to sort and, figure out where we want to keep everything and all that. And so I was really hoping to make it to a yarn shop on the weekend, and because I was telling him, like, I was promised yarn, I want my yarn. But, I was just being goofy. I don't need the yarn. I have plenty there that I could, keep myself entertained with. So I was really hoping to make it to a store called Eat, Sleep, Knit. Not slip, sleep. It is in Dallas, Georgia, which is not far from me. And a lot of the other podcasters have actually gone there before. And so they make it sound very exciting and like paradise for a knitter or crocheter to go and look at some yarny goodness. So I really have been wanting to go and make my way over there. And that's what I was hoping to do on Saturday. But then, like I said, husband got home. And so just getting everything out of the car and stuff. And also kind of resting at the same time because he drove from Chicago. I ended up not having time and we didn't go. So then on Sunday we were going to go. And then we checked. They were closed Saturday and they were closed Monday. And in where we live in Georgia, schools were closed Monday and Tuesday because of the hurricane. They just didn't want to have people out and about, possibly getting into wrecks that maybe shouldn't happen and stuff just because of distractions. So there was no school. So I did not want to go on Tuesday with the kids being home and everything. And so we just kind of stayed home and didn't do much. We've been doing a lot of Wii Sports and Just Dance. My kids love to play those, so we do play those quite often. And it's really nice to have 4 players now instead of just 3. So yeah. But I'm still hoping to make it over there. One day I will make it. But anyways, in the group chat of all the people that were hoping to go to the Georgia Fiber Fest, someone mentioned that there was a different fest, the Southeast Animal Fiber Fest that takes place in Fletcher, North Carolina. And that takes place at the end of October. And so I'm going to try my best to convince husband for us to go. Hopefully it will happen. I would really love to go and make it over there. And after going to YarnCon and seeing all of those beautiful yarns, and coming home with some of them. Like I really, really want to go to another fibery filled day of, you know, just to see. And so we may end up making it a day trip over there if I can convince husband. So we will see. Hopefully that will happen. And so now that's kind of like where my hopes are lying, that I will go over there. And yeah, so hopefully eat, sleep, and it will happen. And also the it's SAF, Southeast Animal Fiber Fest, will happen. So we will see. It's only an extra hour than where the Georgia Fiber Fest. Had I gone to Georgia Fiber Fest, I would have gone south for 2.5 hours. SAF, I would go up 3.5 hours, which it's only an extra hour, not that bad. So hopefully we will be able to make it over there and experience some more fibery goodness. But yeah, and that is, I think, all I have for you guys this week. Thank you so much for coming by and spending some time with me. I greatly appreciate it. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I hope you are all doing well. Hasta la próxima.